Welcome back to the show. Well, now we're joined by Laura Gillum from the United Way of West Florida to talk about how they've helped our community recover from COVID, but most recently from Hurricane Sally. Laura, thank you so much for coming on the program today.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. A lot of people in the community I know have heard of United Way. You guys are a well-known brand nationwide, and you've done a lot of great things here locally. But tell us a little bit about what it is you guys actually do in the community and in Northwest Florida.
So we are tasked with fighting for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. And that really looks sort of different from time to time. It means that we invest in programs through certified agencies in both of those counties that are tackling issues related to health, education, and financial stability. It means that we engage in partnerships and collaborative efforts. It means that we operate programs. So we have some programs that we facilitate and administer in the community. You know, all of those to make sure that that children have the best outcomes, that folks are getting jobs, that people are healthy, and that people are safe.
So you guys work with a lot of different agencies in town, right, to accomplish all those goals? Who are some of the ones that y'all work with?
So we work with agencies that are providing emergency services like Manna Food Pantry, Feeding the Gulf Coast, Salvation Army. We also work with organizations that are doing more long-term work like Boys and Girls Clubs, Big Brothers Big Sisters, the YMCA. So we have a host of agencies that run from, you know, kind of small to larger. We have some that have paid staff and some that don't. And so we've got quite a diversity of partners that are doing a lot of great work in the community.
Yeah, and you guys have done great work in the community for a long time, but this year has been a little different, a little bit more challenging, definitely with COVID. So take us back to early to mid-March. When COVID happens, things shut down, that financial stability and health, and really everything you guys do starts kind of getting, you know, thrown up in the air a little bit when everybody doesn't really know what's going on. And what kind of response you guys had to that for the community?
So, you know, it was a little bit like everybody kind of making it up as we went along. You know, we did shut our doors and we've been, you know, we had the health and safety of our own employees of the utmost, you know, that was of the utmost importance. So we did a lot of work from home. We never stopped working, that's for sure. Our doors might have been shut. We may not have had anybody here, but we were working remotely. So you know, the thing that we did kind of from the outset was to take kind of the temperature of what was going on with our partners. You know, what were the challenges that they were facing? How were they going to continue? Were they going to be able to continue to deliver their programs? If they weren't, what could we do to support them? And then, of course, knowing that when things began to shut down, that people were going to lose jobs, either permanently or temporarily. And so we had some just amazing partners. The first one that really stepped up was Gulf Power Foundation, and they started the relief fund or the response fund that raised over $406,000 eventually. We had lots of great partners that stepped up, lots of individuals in the community that were very generous. So really, that was, you know, one of the things that probably had the greatest impact was this collective desire on the part of organizations and individuals to help people in the community who, through no fault of their own, you know, found themselves struggling to put food on the table, to pay their rent and their mortgage. And so we worked with our certified partners to get that money out into the community, into their hands.
And then just when, you know, things maybe look like they're improving a little bit, maybe getting a little bit better, hurricane season decides to pick up. And we get an unexpected visitor from Hurricane Sally. And, you know, I think a lot of people were kind of surprised by Sally a little bit and the damage that it caused to the area. So tell us what you've seen from the community with Sally and how you guys have helped with the recovery process.
Yeah, this was my first hurricane. I've only lived here for not quite 3 years. And so that's good. I could do this for, you know, no more hurricanes for quite a while. This one did me for quite a while. So, but yeah, you know, again, we immediately started to look at, what was going on in the community. Where do we need to support? We literally had about 2 weeks prior to that distributed the last of the COVID response funds. And on the 16th of September, stood up the Hurricane Sally Relief Fund. So we finished one and started another. We were just getting ready to kick off our workplace campaign, but put that, that took a little bit of a back burner because we knew that the immediate need was for disaster relief and response. So in addition to standing up that relief fund, we also partner with Brace, which is the lead for the emergency services function at the operations center in Escambia County. So we were at the emergency operations center. We had staff who were rotating and supporting them with the volunteer piece, driving, doing deep dives on data that was coming in. We were providing the support as needed over in Santa Rosa County to their emergency operations as well. We are now in conversation with both counties on long-term recovery. That's a role that we have played in the past in the past with disasters, flooding, tornadoes, Ivan. So we're just now starting to kind of do that due diligence to look at where are we going to disperse these funds. What are the critical issues? And I think one of the biggest challenges is people navigating the process. The assistance might be out there, but sometimes it's tough for people to get through that. And to access that. So, where's the case management? Is there something that we can do with that? Building materials. I think mental health is going to end up being a pretty significant challenge. We have some resources that I can talk about in a little bit through one of our programs that was designed to support people who were having difficulty after COVID. And now we've added this additional disaster. So, yeah, there's some challenges.
Definitely an additional stressor added on top of the COVID. And before we started rolling, I told you that we had a live studio audience, which you wouldn't see, but sorry, I lied. They're now going to join us because we would like to take the opportunity to say a little something for you guys at the United Way and everything you've done for the community. So I'm going to go around the horn real quick, as it were, and introduce everybody that's joining us on the call today, some of which I think you may know, but first is Sergio Penaloza. He is our Vice President here in Pensacola of Field and Maintenance Operations. And Kristen Longley is our Public Affairs Director in Pensacola. Phil Higgins is our Vice President of Cox Media for Florida, Jabama, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. We made up a word, Florida, Jabama.
Hi, Laura.
Hi.
And of course, I'm sure you probably know David Dellerman. He's our Market Vice President here in the Gulf Coast market. So having said, with the introductions, I'm actually going to turn it over to David. He's got a little something.
Hi, Laura. Really good to see you. Thanks for making time for us today. We just want to say on behalf of all the folks at Cox Communications and the broader Cox companies, Cox Automotive and Cox Enterprises, our parent company, thank you for everything you guys are doing. We know that has been a challenging 2020, but just the fact that you guys are still pushing forward the commitments you have to the community. We're so impressed and have so much admiration for the work you do on a day-to-day basis. I know you're familiar with Cox and the fact that we're a 120-year-old family-owned company, still has deep roots in the communities we serve. Our Governor James M. Cox, who founded our company, really believed in serving the community so much. He actually wrote that into his will and said, as long as we're out there serving the communities, we will be giving back to the communities we serve. So part of what we do, we've got a James M. Cox Foundation, and we are thrilled to share with you today that the Cox Foundation is giving a grant of $50,000 to the United Way of West Florida to support your Hurricane Sally recovery efforts.
Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. That's so wonderful. Thank you.
We know it will go to good use. We're just so appreciative of what you're doing. You guys are truly working with the most vulnerable people in our community every single day and making a difference. So we know it'll go to good use, and just thank you for what you're doing. We really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you all so much. This is a very generous gift, and it will indeed be put to good use. And we just appreciate everything that you all do for the community and the support that you're giving.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you guys do for the community. We really appreciate you always being there and helping out our residents whenever they're in need. So thank you for everything. And as David said, we're just happy to be able to give back and help you guys as our area recovers from Hurricane Sally. I know you mentioned some programs, so we're going to have the website up during our conversation, so I encourage everybody to go to the United Way website and find out more information if y'all do need help. But Laura, thank you so much for coming on the program today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is, yeah, this is going to get us right. In fact, it may tip us over the $400,000 mark. So that would be wonderful. So I'll send you an email and let you know where that puts us in the next day or two. But yeah, it's just, there's a lot of need out there. You know, that's one of the things working with Brace and getting, like I was seeing some numbers today, and it's just staggering. So, there's just a lot of work to be done. And I think the challenge that we have is that there's so many of these disasters that, you know, from a volunteer standpoint, that's been one of the biggest challenges, is like you got somebody who has a tarp, but they don't have anybody to put it on because the volunteers are just spread so thin. So that's the other piece that's hard to figure out how to navigate that. But I mean, we'll get there. The FEMA assistance that they finally declared was a huge piece of it. And so those resources coming into the community are going to make a lot of difference, but they can't do everything. And so you guys are, you know, definitely going to help fill those gaps for sure. That's, you know, and that's one of the things that we really are trying to make sure that we're doing is not duplicating. So just making sure, okay, this is going to govern this and this, but this over here isn't going to be taken care of. So that's where we need to be investing the resources. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah, so y'all are great. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I certainly hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, being able to learn more about these organizations, but of course, giving them some funds to help as they help our area recover from Hurricane Sally and the ongoing fight against COVID. Make sure you tune in next month as we take another look across the Gulf Coast.